Some ingredients commonly found in soaps have been linked to serious health concerns, yet most people use them every single day without ever checking what's actually in them. That was me too, until I started researching the ingredients for myself. In this video I'll quickly explain the problem with most soaps, what to look for instead, and how I eventually found the liquid soap I use today. So stay until the end because I'll show you the exact liquid soap I chose after hours of researching ingredients and comparing brands, and why it was the only one that met my standard. Disclaimer, nothing in this video is a health claim and this is not medical advice, this is for informational purposes only. Also, everyone's skin is different, so always check ingredients for your own allergies and sensitivities. The problem with most liquid soaps. One thing I realised during all my research is that most soaps aren't really designed around keeping the formula as simple and natural as possible. They're designed to smell stronger, foam more, feel smoother, and last longer on the shelf. To achieve that, most of them include things like fragrance or parfum, sulfates such as SLS or SLES, preservatives, artificial colours, and other ingredients I will never put on my skin now that I know what I know. For me, this became personal because I have quite sensitive skin, so I tend to notice pretty quickly when something doesn't agree with me. I used to get dry, cracked hands, rashes, and an itchy scalp at different points over time. And at first, I just thought that was normal, like that was just how my skin was. The real shift for me came when I first read a book called Never Be Sick Again. I'll link it in the description, as it's a book that in my opinion, everybody should be given at birth. That book opened my eyes to how many everyday products can contain ingredients most people never really think about. So I started looking into things properly myself. I went through the products I was already using and actually checked what was in them, and what I found was that most of them didn't really match the standards I thought they did. When I eventually switched to non-toxic alternatives, those problems with my skin disappeared. And that made me realise something important. It wasn't just my skin being sensitive. It was what I was consistently putting on it. From that point on, I stopped trusting the front of the bottle and started reading the ingredients list instead, because that's where you actually see what's in the product. Now obviously I've simplified a lot here. If you want the full deep dive into the ingredients I avoid, why I avoid them, and how I researched all of this, I've made a much more in-depth video on that. I'll put the playlist on screen at the end with all the videos I've made on soaps, and it will be in there if you want to watch it. So if that's what I wanted to avoid, what was I actually looking for instead? Because that's the part most people never get told. What to look for. Once I'd compared dozens of ingredients lists, I actually ended up simplifying everything. Because a soap can say natural, organic, clean, or gentle on the front, but that doesn't really tell you much about what's actually inside. So now I keep it simple. I look for short, transparent ingredient lists. Ingredients you can actually recognise, not long chemical names you can't pronounce. And what I noticed is a lot of products lean heavily into marketing. Things like earth, nature, organic, anti-dandruff. But when you actually look at the ingredients, it's a completely different story. Sometimes I'd read the label and honestly just laugh to myself, because it had nothing to do with what the front of the bottle was suggesting. So my focus shifted. Simple ingredients, clear transparency, and nothing unnecessary added in just for smell, foam, etc. If a list is overly long or full of complex chemical names you can't easily recognise, that's usually a red flag. I'll put the list on screen now of all the ingredients I personally avoid, so you can pause and screenshot if you want, because for me the biggest mindset shift was this. I stopped trusting the front of the bottle. The ingredients list is what actually matters. And after comparing brand after brand and reading more ingredients lists than I care to remember, I kept coming back to the same one. And honestly, that surprised me, because after everything I'd learned, it was the only liquid soap that consistently met the standard I was looking for. The best non-toxic liquid soap. The liquid soap I chose and still use today is Dr. Bronner's 18-in-1 Pure Castile liquid soap. It is the best non-toxic liquid soap I have found. The scent options are all good, but if I had to pick one I would avoid ingredients-wise, it would be the eucalyptus version. It's about 90% organic, vegan, and free from the ingredients I personally avoid in soaps. It's also highly concentrated, roughly 3 times stronger than typical liquid soaps, so a little goes a very long way. It may look expensive at first glance, but you only use a drop at a time, so it honestly lasts forever. You can use it as a hand wash, body wash, diluted shampoo, or even as a simple household cleaner. So it basically replaces multiple products, which fits a more minimal approach. I've used it for years now. My first bottle was Lavender, and when I finished that I switched to tea tree for a fresher herbal note. I'm still using that bottle now, and I bought it about 2 years ago. And for me, that consistency matters, because it's not just something that looks good on paper, it's something that actually works in real life every day. If you want to check either of those soaps out, the links are in the description. So to quickly wrap this up, most soaps are designed around how they feel and smell, not necessarily how simple the formula actually is. And once you start reading ingredients lists properly, you realise a lot of products don't really match the standard. Most people assume they do. For me, it ultimately came down to simplicity. Fewer unnecessary ingredients, more transparency, and something I can use every day without overthinking it. And after all of that, Dr. Bronner's is the liquid soap I ended up using. Again, link in the description. But I'm curious, have you ever actually checked the ingredients in your soap before? Let me know in the comments. If you learned something new, please like and subscribe to keep learning. If you know anyone that's interested in this kind of content, please share this to them, as it really helps me out. If you want to watch any of my other videos I've made in this series, then the playlist will be on screen now. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next one. And remember, stay positive even when it seems everything is against you.